And what Sammy was saying about lack of communication from Conte, we need to see better in-game management from Conte.
Yeah,
he needs to react to what's going on the pitch, and I don't know, shoring up his defence, switching formation, bringing on another midfielder. I don't know, but it's not currently quite good enough from Conte.
Well, you know what? This comment here from Alex Lally, who says, too many guests on this and other two shows are too scared to criticise Conte. Alex, can I just say to you, I've got no problem at all in criticising Antonio Conte. For me, he's shown in the last few months.
I think I just did.
Well, yeah, I think that's
exactly.
did. And I think also for me, I think also that his formation for me to some degree, I know what Sam just said there, I think he's very inflexible. I think he's quite stubborn. I think his changes are quite reactive rather than proactive, in my personal opinion. I'm not doubting the man is an unbelievable coach. I'm not doubting that he will make players better. But for me, I've got to be able to say that I haven't seen that enough this season. And I do not think it helps. And I'll keep on saying this. I don't think it helps that the manager has got 3 to 4 months left on his contract. And there's this uncertainty looming and hanging over everybody, from the board, for us, for the players. I don't see how this situation benefits anybody. It really, really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. And I think Conte is massively part of this, Sam.
I agree with that.
With every game we play, that tension gets higher and higher.
Absolutely.
and higher, doesn't it?
And that is why there's frustration amongst the fans, which then translates to the board. And this will keep on going and going and going until we get a conclusion to it. And my worry is that this is different to last season, in my opinion, because the players, for me, it's, as I said at the start of this show, it's very easy. If I start with you, Vass, it's very easy to play against Man City when you're playing against arguably one of the best teams, not only in the league, but in the world. And they were also off it, City, last week. I will say this, as good as Tottenham were last week, please don't be fooled that with City, there is a massive issue there. Whether you want to dress that up or whatever, was a great Spurs performance, was the best performance of our season. But please don't be blind to the fact that defensively, we've got massive issues. And Antonio Conte is the manager. And it is him that I expect to make a difference and change it. And look, again, this is nothing to do with the man's health. I wish him the very, very best with recovery. Health is the most important thing, but this is about football. And Vass, to start with you, Stellini said after the game in his press conference that Conte had a different feeling on the touchline, and it's hindering to somewhat as he tries to recover. I'm not even too sure if the man should have been there today, Vass, but as you said there, Vass, defensively, we should be better than that. I know it's a poor defence, and I know we need to make improvements. I know we need to do more in the market, but there's something just not right, is there, Vass, with the manager and the way we're playing?
No. And on your point for last week, there's something not quite right with Man City either. I just hope they got enough to beat Arsenal to the title.
That was a good point.
But for us, actually, there was somebody that I follow on Twitter. He said, Conte knows he's leaving. Levy knows he's leaving. The players know he's leaving. The fans know he's leaving. Chaz and Dave know he's leaving, and one of them's dead. So it's just, you're right, Rick. It's just this situation is not helping. It's hard to build for a future if you don't know what that future is going to look like, and it's adding to the pressure. Of course it is. But as we said earlier, we need Conte's passion on the sideline. We had it last season, and that partly drove us to clinch the Champions League spot. It hasn't really been there this season. He looks very passive at times, and I don't know whether it's his health or whether it's stuff to do with the batch of friends that he's lost in recent times or whatever, or whether his heart is now pining to be back in Italy or whatever it is. But it's not the same Antonio Conte, the standing on that touchline, driving those players on, and that's a big factor.
So the weird thing is, Vass, so last week, so you look at Stellini, he was the guy going nuts running on the side like Conte used to be. So he was doing all that last week, and you sort of look at it today, and it probably would have been better if he wasn't there, because if he's not up to it,
I agree.
Not there,
I agree
for whatever reason, because that does translate to the players, doesn't it? Like last week, everyone was up. The fans are up for it. Stellini's going nuts on the sideline. I'm like one of those fans. I look at the manager. I'm thinking, I love that. That gets me going.
Tim, you base everything around the fans' passion, right? The fans' voice, the fans' acoustics, what the fans mean to a football club. Well, imagine the difference between having an Antonio Conte running up and down the sideline excuse me, almost strangling the other manager. You know, that passion that Conte brings. The reason why we all love him.
Look at Chelsea last year. How much did everyone get right in on that? Because I'm not condoning violence, right? But that shows passion for the team, isn't it?
That passion. And I do agree with you, mate, in exactly everything that you say. And I feel like, sort of, where is that?
It's not there. It's not there.
And I know that he's had the personal issues, and then we put it down to the death of, we put it down to all sorts, and then, he's been stitched up more times than we have this year on an operating table. He's had problems, and there are issues with Antonio Conte that he's had to deal with personally, and wish him nothing but the best as an incredible manager, decorated manager. That is an incredible manager that I want at Tottenham Hotspur, but where that at Tottenham has slowly diminished.
It does. Again, it sounds brutal to say it doesn't help the team, does it? That's a problem. So it always going to drag the team down.
Yeah, and I must just say again very quickly, look, I'm fully aware and knowledgeable to the fact that Conte has not got the most perfect squad or the most perfect 11. But I think the answer, the message, Tim, I probably want to ask you is just being honest about it. That, would another manager get more out of this current set of players or squad, in your opinion, Tim? Or is this the maximum that this squad can get achieved under a manager? What's your opinion on that, Tim?
And this is a weird thing, right? This is Tottenham for you. So if you asked me that 3 weeks ago, I'd say probably yes. If you asked me that yesterday, before today, I'd probably say no. So it's so up and down. Like the guys are saying, it's such an up and down club. It's such a difficult question to ask. I think with where we are now, we're out the transfer window. We can't sign anyone else. Yeah, we've obviously got some injury blows. Let's God forbid Bentancur. He's the reason, by the way. God forbid it's not as bad as everyone thinks. We lost Basuma, we've lost Hugo, potentially lost Bentancur. You kind of need the team to come together. I can't see how changing the manager now is going to have any positive effects. I just can't see it. But at the same time, if we've got Conte on the sideline being completely passive, then I'm kind of 50-50.
Yeah, and I must just come back in on this and say, look, we're not just saying it's the manager. How many times have I said it on last week's Spurs, where this is down to a lack of investment of not giving every single manager in the last 4 or 5 years exactly what they've needed. We didn't give Jose what he needed. We didn't give Pochettino what he needed. We arguably, again, I'm not even going to bring Nuno into the conversation. It's a different manager. But Sam, you've been a massive Conte fan. You've backed him to the hill. But do you also think, Sam, whilst you feel in your opinion there has been some flexibility of tactics, he's got to show more of it? Because, again, I'll make that point. The investment for me hasn't been enough. I think, again, with regards to this last window that's just shut, we could, and needed to do more. And I've said that time and time again, that after every window under this current ownership, we always, for me, in my opinion, are a couple of players short. That's how I've always felt, and that's how I always feel I will be. Just changing the manager resolve this or sort this out, Sam? Does it do anything at this moment?
No, it doesn't. I agree with Tim. Changing the manager doesn't do this. Now, I've just been really critical about Antonio Conte, but what I was saying is he doesn't seem to be all there. And you know what? How long have you got here, Ricky? Because I've got a controversial statement for you. And this is my opinion on Tottenham Hotspur at the moment is this. Okay, the board isn't very popular at the moment. Okay, Daniel Levy isn't very popular at the moment. Inik aren't very popular at the moment. They're not. But do you know what? They're doing fabulous things. They are doing fabulous things. The bottom line is the team that was out today were good enough to beat Leicester City Football Club. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, it's not Inik. It's not Daniel Levy. It's Antonio Conte who had control of the team today.